All right, it's time. Okay. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's my pleasure to welcome you all to SQ Marshal Scholarship Insight 9.0. Please confirm if you can hear me, please.
Yeah, I
If you
can
can hear me,
hear
please
you.
do. All right, thank you so much.
Yes, hi.
So, like I said, it's my great pleasure to welcome you all to SQ Marshal Scholarship 9.0 Insight. My name is Ogochukwu Okonkwo, and I'm delighted to be your moderator for tonight's session. So, on behalf of SQA Marshal Limited, I welcome everyone joining us this evening, especially the scholars, aspiring software testers, the QA enthusiasts, and everyone interested in building a career in quality assurance and software testing. So basically, tonight's session is particularly important because this is more than just another webinar. This is an insight session that is designed to give aspiring professionals an opportunity to hear directly from people who have actually walked the path they are considering to walk into. And sometimes when you start a career, when you're starting a career, what you need is not just another course or another definition. Probably sometimes you may need to hear someone's story. You may need to know how did the person start, what challenges the person faced, what mistake did they make, what would you do differently? And also important, some people may want to ask what are opportunities that are available when when the person has finally developed himself or herself and entered into the profession. So this is what tonight's session is going to be, trying to answer. So these questions are going to be answered in this webinar, this side session tonight. So I encourage everyone to listen actively, take notes, pen things down, and most importantly, think about how the lessons shared tonight can apply to your own career journey. All right, so before we proceed, I would like to acknowledge the leadership and team behind this initiative. The SQL Marshal Scholarship Program represents an effort to expose aspiring professionals to the quality assurance and software testing profession while creating opportunities for learning, mentorship, and career development. And we appreciate the leadership of SQL Marshal Limited that is led by Mr. Success Ayodeji, my boss, as well as the entire program management team for putting this initiative together. Tonight, we're going to be privileged to have the leader of the organization with us. Of course, you have heard him speak. He was one that started speaking earlier. And I believe it's not only fitting that we hear from him before, I think it's actually more fitting rather to hear from him before we proceed to our distinguished speakers. Mr. Sosa, are you still on call? You still here?
Oh, very well. I'm with you here.
All right. So ladies and gentlemen, before we hear from the distinguished speakers we have for tonight, like I said, I believe it's important that we hear from the person whose vision and leadership continues to drive the initiative that we are experiencing. Like you observe, it says Scholarship Insight 9.0. That means we have had from 1 to 8, and now we're having the 9th insight, So it's something that has become a tradition in SQA Marshal Limited, where speakers are being, churned from different places, different space, especially in the world of QA, software quality assurance, and they come to speak to us. I was part of those who witnessed, or were part of those who actually had the insight about, I think, 3.0 insight, and it's wonderful. It was a wonderful experience we had. So SQA Marshal is not only creating opportunities for people to learn software testing, it's also building a community that is creating pathway for aspiring professionals to enter and to grow within the quality assurance profession. So to officially welcome us to Scholarship Insight 9.0 and to share a few words with us, I'm delighted to invite the Chief Executive Officer of the SQ Marshal Limited, Mr. Success Ayodeji, to speak to us this evening quickly. Sir, we're honored to have you with us. The floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Ogochukwu, for that introduction. It's been a while. I mean, it's been a ride, to say. to be at this very junction that we have right now. So this scholarship exercise section Cohort 9.0. And yes, I want to welcome every one of you here, especially our guest speakers, Kingsley Udoh and Inaobatan Olawale. Welcome to this inside session to share your experience with our aspiring software testers that are on this call today. And of course, to everyone who are on this call, I mean the aspiring software testers that have been offered admission to join the Cohort 9.0, you are welcome to this particular session as well. And yeah, this section proves to be insightful and worthwhile, right? So just before I close what I intend to say here, I would like to quickly share something with us, very, very important and crucial at this point, at this time. The federal government of Nigeria, I think some few weeks back, through the Nigeria Information Technology Development Agency. I don't know if you've heard about NITDA before. Can you just signify? Have you heard about NITDA before? You've heard about NITDA before. Can you signify? NITDA. Have you heard about NITDA before? Okay, beautiful, beautiful. So just recently, NITDA is the agency that is particularly in charge of everything technology that the government does. So if government is going to create any website today, it has to go through NITDA. All right. So NITDA is the body, or let's say the agency that controls everything technology for the government. Now, so recently they come up with a software testing framework that is currently being being circulated across different organizations, and what is expected of Nigerian firms, tech firms, on what to do, especially when it comes to software testing. So you can browse more of these online. But yeah, I'm just going to share. Let's see what the Punch newspaper have to say about this. This was July 29, 2026. So that's last month, barely a month ago. And yeah, they come up with this software testing guideline, which is enforcing how software testing should be done, right, across the country and in different organizations. So what that simply implies is that there will be a rise, all right? There will be a rise in demand for software testers in coming months. You start seeing an increase in demand for software testers. But yeah, even though there's an increase in demand for software testers, the question is now how many people are ready to fill up this gap. So today in Nigeria, I believe that many people know more about software development, data analysis, cybersecurity, and yeah, these are the ones that are often mentioned. When you hear tech, the first thing that comes to your mind is software development. I want to be a front-end developer, a back-end developer, or I want to be a data analyst. That's what comes to your mind. But a little did people realize that software testing is even in existence. And this is a career path that has brought many people into wealth, as a matter of fact. So software testing is a very crucial role when it comes to the tech industry, because every software you see, for instance, every one of us use a mobile application on our phone, right? So that mobile application you are using went through a phase called testing before it is made available for you to use. So what that simply implies is that there is no software developed that will not go through a round of testing. And there are people that test this software. And the people that test this software are called test engineers, test analysts, different nomenclature to that, right? But yeah, what I'm just saying in essence is that there will be a rise in the demand for software testing because the federal government of Nigeria, through NITDA, has already brought out a testing guideline that organizations must use. And of course, in the in the establishment of a test agency, just like SQ Marshal, there are requirements that must be met. There are the number of software testers we must have on our team. There are software certification that those software testers must have. There are experience levels that these software testers must also have before we can get contract from the government. So what that simply implies again is that these organizations, test organizations, tech organizations, software development organizations will now start asking, recruiting software testers in mass. And yeah, very soon you start seeing that. So the essence of this program is to set you on that path where you are ready for the opportunity. And that's why we are having this insight session to take you through some of the things that are very crucial. As you can see on my screen, we are already taking application for Cohort 10.0, but yeah, this is Cohort 9.0. And yes, this is what this is what it will look like for you. I mean, your schedule, but you are going to get into all of this over time. So let me just leave the ground for Ogoshuku and the speaker so they can continue from where I'm stopping right now. Yeah, there are frequently asked questions where you can go through different things here. Right, Ogoshuku, please, over to you. Thank you very much, everyone, and have a wonderful evening this night.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much for those words. And thank you for the vision behind this initiative. I believe that that was a very, very fitting way to officially set the tone for the Scholarship Insight 9.0. I remember when you first shared about this NIDA regulation and all that, it was one of the things that excited me to even become much more serious with what I'm doing. So, and to everyone that is listening, I hope you are taking note of the opportunities before you at the job, because the journey into quality assurance obviously requires learning, patience, consistency. It also requires you to be deliberate in your efforts. But platforms like this provide an opportunity to learn from people who have already actually traveled part of that journey. So once again, sir, thank you so much for all you do. So please put your hands together for our CEO for that wonderful opening remark into this session. Please, thank you so much. All right. Okay. So ladies and gentlemen, we will now move into the main insight session. Our first speaker tonight is Mr. Kingsley Udoh. He is a senior QA engineer at ArcWest Group. Mr. Kingsley will be sharing his experience with us, including the journey into quality assurance, his journey into quality assurance here, the reason behind his career choice, the lessons he has gathered along the way, the advice he has for beginners, and some of the opportunities available within the QA profession. Interestingly, this is not the first time I'm sitting under the sitting under Mr. Kingsley Udoh. When I have him speak, I've had him speak before. Mr. Kingsley Udoh is a man of vision. He's a man of intellect. Someone that people should aspire to be like, as well. So for everyone who is starting out, I encourage you to carefully listen. Listen carefully. Your journey may not be exactly like Kingsley's, but maybe of course, there will be variable lessons for you in his stories that can help you navigate your path. Mr. Kingsley, thank you for joining us. Please confirm if you can hear me and if you're on the call.
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. So, sir, the floor is yours. You have 15 minutes to share all of this wisdom with us. Yes, sir.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All right. Thank you. Hi, everyone. Can you hear me? Please confirm that you can hear me.
Yeah, I can hear you.
All right. So, my name is Kingsley, and I have some highlights here, things I need to talk about, but I'll try to be brief. I know I have 15 minutes. It's a lot, but I'll try as much as I can to be brief. I love to tell stories. So I'm currently a software senior QA at ArcWest Group. We're into market research. So our solutions help organizations to do proper research in different sectors, medical, whichever sector that you're into. So our solutions help people to companies to do proper research. I've been working in testing for 8 years now, and I'm like, wow. In fact, August precisely is making this August is making me like it's my anniversary month sort of, because I started my journey in 2018, August 2018, and it was a huge one. So backstory, how I started my journey in QA. First of all, I didn't know about testing all this while. I grew up in Port Harcourt. I studied civil engineering in Port Harcourt in Uniport. So, Port Harcourt, oil city, everybody wants to be an engineer, or you want to go into oil and gas. So all of those things, nobody was talking about tech. So I started my journey as I studied civil engineering, graduated, wanted to be a civil engineer. Indeed, I loved it. It wasn't like I was forced to do it. It was something I wanted to do as at the time. But after graduation, I was fortunate to get a job here in Lagos with a company. Just 3 months. 3 months after graduation, I got a job, and it was nice, just getting the first graduate job, earning some money and all of that. But I noticed that I wasn't satisfied with my job. I wasn't satisfied with the trajectory, like the whole idea of being a civil engineer. I'm like, but you did this in school, you studied civil in school. In fact, I even did 6 months IT. I enjoyed my IT, my normal 6 months IT engineering. I enjoyed it so well. And I didn't even pick the sign until after graduation when I started working. I think one of the turn off for me was because I was always expected to be on site physically, and it was really draining and tiring. Secondly, I observed people at the company. Most of them, they will tell me that they've been a civil engineer for like 6, 7, 10, 15, 20 years. And I'm not judging them per se, but I just didn't see anything that excited me, like based on what I had seen, people around me. So I started asking myself, what next? What do you want to do, Kingsley? Where do you want to go? Can you figure out what you want to do, so I started saying, okay, I think the kind of job I would want to do would be like an office job where I would just have my laptop with me, and then I would do something. Or I didn't know it was going to be tech. So I had this conversation with somebody in my church, and then he said, can you go in? So he said, you can go into tech. I said, me, tech, how? Because I didn't study computer science. Growing up, and people have seen all the people that are in tech, then they all studied computer science. So I was like, no, I didn't study computer science. I said, no, you can do it. So that guy sort of encouraged me to pursue a career in tech. Now, but he didn't give me any particular advice to go to software testing or go into development. He just said, go into tech. So he referred me to one guy, and the guy said, oh, you can go into software, hardware, installations and all this. So I learned I don't know if you guys know CCNA, all this, like the hardware part of tech in a way. So I did that training for a while, but I still didn't like it. And in that job, somebody now said software engineering. And then I started doing some research in software. This was before 2018, I think sometime 2017, early 2018. So I started, researching about software engineering, and I signed up in a boot camp, started learning. And after 4 months, I got my first. I told the guy that, I need to get a job. So I was lucky to get an internship. Or how I got it, it's a long story, but I wouldn't want to go there. But I was lucky to get my first internship as an intern software engineer, and I started my journey. I was contributing to the tech team. We're just doing our stuff, consultancy. We consult for different organizations and then individuals that would come for us to build solutions for them. So I was just doing some minor stuff, contributing here and there. But it was still not, I still didn't feel satisfied in a way. So after like some months, I told my boss that I think I would want to leave, maybe to go and sort myself out. I don't know if somebody if my leadership was just testing me, but I wasn't just happy. Then he said, do you know that you can be a good tester? I said, what's testing? He said, Kingsley, you're always the one asking good questions during our clients meetings. You're always the one coming up with issues. I always find problems on our solutions. if we have meetings with potential clients, I'm always very outspoken. I would ask them, if the client says, we want to build this, while I'm taking notes, I'm also asking questions like, what if the user does this, or what if this happens, what if that happens? And then my boss would be like, yes, thank you for that. Thank you. So I didn't know I was in QA. So he told me, go back home, research about QA, take 1 week off, and just let me know if it's something you want to do. And I came back after a week, and I told him, you know what, I think this is what I think I can try this out, and let's see how it goes. But that 1 week was the game changer for me. I prayed. I went online to seek guidance, and I didn't get anybody any person to tell me. So these guys are really lucky. You know, back then we didn't have communities to help people transition into tech. It wasn't available at all. Like, it wasn't available. Like, you guys are so lucky to see people do these things now. So I was looking for somebody to even show me the way, ask me, like, show me, you know. I think I tried to reach out to a guy in Timapt. He just told me a few things. So it was a struggle. But so what I now did was to leverage LinkedIn. I went on LinkedIn, and then I reached out to somebody, and he gave me this ISTQB syllabus, like the PDF document. So I started reading it, you know, then I watched some brief YouTube videos online. So it started making a little sense to me. And I said, okay, so my job is just to test and then probe the software and, you know, ask good questions, find issues. Okay, I think I was really love to do this because naturally these are the things that I love to do. I love to find trouble. I love to look for issues. I love to talk. I love to, you know, that kind of thing. So, and I then packaged my report. So while I was at home, I tested one of our products, did a few reports, sent an email to my boss, and the next week when I resumed, he was like, Kingsley, I told you this is you're born to do this. And the rest, they say, is history. And he assigned me to work at Zenith Bank. So we had like a long project for like a year. So I went to Zenith Bank, and all I was doing there was to test APIs. I was giving them wahala. Like, I was testing, you know. So that sort of just gave me life. Testing it brought a different personality from me, like, out of me, right? I was so excited, you know. I moved from that company, and I moved to UBA Bank. When I moved to UBA Bank, as a contract staff, you know, another company hired me. Then they deployed me to UBA to work for them. When I got to UBA Bank, my goodness, I saw a lot of testers. And I told myself, we are all of them done the hide since. Like, I was looking for people to show me this way. But anyways, my journey was kind of rough. So when I went to UBA sort of put structure into, I wasn't like a solo tester anymore. I was working with other testers. So people were criticizing my work. I was also criticizing theirs. I had a very amazing boss. I think she's now in Canada doing amazing things. So she helped me, coached me, and I was exposed to so many projects, different projects. So I was just I wasn't feeling that satisfaction anymore. So it felt like, yes, this is it for me. There was a project I was assigned to do at UBA. Till today, I still, if I go for any interview and then they ask me, what's your most memorable project, I always remember that project. So there was a particular project I was working on with the developer in Cameroon. So UBA is in 20 African countries. I don't know about now if they've increased, but they are all over so many African countries. So I was assigned to work with a developer in Cameroon to test a solution. Now, while we were on that project, I asked him, why are we building this project? He said, Kingsley, this was in 2020. He said, Kingsley, do you know that students in Cameroon find it difficult to pay their school fees because we have a lot of unbanked population, that they have a lot of unbanked population in Cameroon, first of all. And then secondly, they don't have a lot of banks, physical structures where people can just go in and pay their school fees. So when students want, when parents and students, they want to pay school fees, especially for their school fees and all of that, they tend to go to the bank as early as 4 a.m., queue up just to pay their school fees. It was that bad. So the bank, instead of the bank to start building physical structures, they decided to come up with a solution where students can just walk up to somebody, just like we do, ATM, POS guys. They can walk up to anybody and then register, and the person will take their money and then ensure that the money gets to the institution that needs the money. So I was like, wow. So you guys have to wake up by 4 a.m. to queue up? He said, yes. I said, we don't have that kind of stuff in Nigeria. He said, you guys are lucky now. You guys have banking structures, everything. So I was like, man, so this thing that I'm testing.
Hello, Mr. Kingsley, you have 3 minutes. You have 3 minutes.
Serious. So, yeah, so thank you. So this thing I'm testing is actually making a lot of impact. You understand? So, I told you guys I love to talk about. I'll try to be brief. Thank you for reminding me. So, the career is very, very. It's fun. It's you see your impact being felt like real time. So sometimes I look at those testers, people that are currently testing apps like Jumia, OP. I'm sure they'll be feeling like superstars because almost everybody knows OP and they are using their product. So yeah, that's one of the things that I would want to share with you guys, that you can feel your impact directly when you switch to testing. You see it real time. You're solving problems, real time problems, meaningful problems. Now, I will quickly share about my advice to young people or beginners, anybody that is starting off in tech for the first time. I would say, be very hungry. Take charge of your learning. There's no training institution, quote me anywhere, there's no training institution. If you like, pay $100,000 for a training or go and do a master's or anything, there's nobody that will teach you 100% testing. You learn on the job. You learn on your own. You have to be hungry, extremely hungry and crazy about your learning. Yeah, I tell people jokingly that you have to marry to tech to excel in tech. You have to be very, very, you have to be hungry. You can meet me and say, oh, I want you, Kingsley, to mentor me. Yeah, I'll give you some tips, but I can't put ambition. I can't give you that drive. So you have to be self-driven to succeed in tech or succeed in software testing. Please leverage communities. There's so many testing communities right now that are willing to help. People are there to help, to support you. Leverage those things, especially SQL Marshal that we have. Leverage those opportunities. Try as much as you can to put yourself out there. I know it's not easy, but if you can, please come on LinkedIn, post what you're learning, connect with people. This thing that you want to learn now, it's a global skill. I kid you not. Anything you're doing, if you say you learn testing in Nigeria, you can use that same knowledge to UK, Canada, anywhere. You will still be doing testing. The same thing. It's not the kind of profession that if you learn it here, if you go another place, they will not be asking you to do another thing. No. It's global. As you learn it, one of anything you're learning is just global, right? So leverage LinkedIn, please. And when you start making money, please don't forget to invest in yourself. Go for paid trainings, because we keep learning. Recently, I bought a book, from the testing legend, just because I want to learn. And try to put yourself out there. Leverage communities. What else again? And try to discover how you learn. Some people learn with podcasts. Some people learn via structured training. Some people learn by reading articles. Some learn by reading, watching YouTube videos, Udemy courses. Over time, you'll discover what works for you, okay? But don't pressure yourself. Just this is like a discovery phase. Over time, you would understand your learning methodology properly. Then, okay, I've talked about seeking mentorship. Yeah, that's very, very important. Even me myself, I've been in the testing community, the testing profession for 8 years, and I still seek for mentorship from people that are way above me. Ask them for help. Sometimes when things are bothering me, I just seek counsel from them. I wish I had started putting myself out there from day one. So I want to encourage you, please start putting yourself out there. Once you start this training, go on LinkedIn, put up a post. Oh, you did this, you did that. You're documenting your work. Please, it's very, very important. I've got so many opportunities just because I decided to showcase what I'm doing online. Recently, I got an award from Microsoft because somebody saw my work online. I said, Kingsley, I think you're eligible for this award. And he recommended me. Microsoft asked me to send them the evidences of my work, all the things I've done in the last 1 year. And it took about 60 something days to review my portfolio and the things I have done. And they gave me the award. Today, I think I'm like the only tester that I've gotten it, because most people that I've gotten are like developers and all that. So this profession, lots of opportunities. Lastly, okay, I think I've mentioned about the opportunities. What else? So you can get there's so many ways you can get a job, but just know that once you get your first job and you keep growing, your finances will definitely increase. I'm not where I used to be by the grace of God, But anyways, what I'm trying to say is it keeps getting better as you continue to grow. Just rest assured that the finances will grow with you. You can also leverage freelancing. There's some people that will say, "Oh, we don't want to employ an in-house tester." You can come in and as a consultant and just do the project one-off, and then they'll pay you. And if you do a good job, definitely they'll recommend you. Recently, somebody called me somebody I had worked for 2 years ago called me again and said, Kingsley, what's your price? Because he needed me to test another solution for him. So you can imagine if I didn't do a good job for him, right? He knows I'm working. So I don't think the guy would have come back again. So that's all you can, you just be getting money anyhow, easily from left, right, and center because of the fact that you're good at what you do and they're seeing the things that you're putting out online. I think, yeah, that's all I have to say. There's a lot, but please, like I said, be hungry. Even if we talk from now to tomorrow, but you know yourself, you know why you're here. Please hold on to this opportunity and keep pushing. If you want to reach out to me, I'm on LinkedIn anytime, any day. You can send me a message, and I'll be willing to, continue the conversation to motivate you. But like I said, you're the driver of this bus, so you have to put in the work. Thank you.
Thank you so very much, Mr. Kingsley, for this wonderful insight. When you were speaking, I was just remembering the words at the time. I think one of those webinars that you were called upon some months back, and the things you said were not, and it was also, I think, was not so much different from things you were saying then. That's one of the things I love about Mr. Kingsley. He has always been consistent in what he does and what he's saying to us, especially those of us in the software quality assurance space. And want to really appreciate you for this wonderful insight you are giving on to us. I want to also particularly appreciate the fact that you have shared not just the destination, but some of the challenges you had, especially for the fact that you didn't come from the computer science, degree, all of those. I studied computer science in university. Someone like me, yes, I studied computer science in university, right? But that's not the case with you. But you left that part, and you are a software quality assurance, engineer. It's a beautiful thing. It shows us that what that means is that anybody can study whatever you want to study in school, right? And you can also become a software quality assurance tester. Thank you so much for those lessons from the journeys from your journey, and I hope our participants have been taking notes. Because sometimes one lesson from someone's career journey can save you months or even years of confusion. Interestingly, one of the things he mentioned was that you put yourself out there on time. Don't wait until, just keep waiting. Whatever you're doing, keep posting on LinkedIn. Those are the things he has been saying whenever I hear him speak. So thank you so much. Please put your hands together for Mr. Kingsley for this wonderful session, for this wonderful insight he has given to us tonight. I hope you are excited to be on this call tonight, everyone. Thank you so much. So we're going to be moving up to the second speaker. Our second speaker tonight is Mr. Inaobatan. Olawale, I'm sorry if I didn't pronounce that first name correctly, but I'll just go with Mr. Olawale, a senior QA engineer at Fintrack Software Co. Limited. Mr. Olawale, thank you very much for joining us this evening. We're looking forward to hearing your story and your perspective on the quality assurance profession. In particular, we want to hear about your journey, the lessons you have learned, the advice you have for beginners, and the opportunities you believe aspiring professionals should be looking out for. Once again, to everyone listening, please keep your questions in mind because we will have a brief interactive section after the presentation. Mr. Olawale, please confirm if you can hear me.
Yes, I can hear you.
All right. Okay. Thank you so much for being with us on this call. So the floor is yours, sir. You have 15 minutes to share with us all of these wisdoms that we trust to have from you. Thank you.
Yeah. Good evening, everyone. And I hope I'm more audible than usual. I'm allowed and
Yes.
clear.
Yes.
Just try to
Yes.
confirm.
Yes, I can hear you. I can hear you.
Okay, so good evening, everyone, and I welcome everyone to this session. Um, First of all, let me just start by introducing myself. So, my name is Olawale Marshal. So, I'm a QA engineer with experience in functional and non-functional API testing, regression, agile testing, any form of testing. So I started my career in I think year 2020. Yes, in the year 2020 after I finished my NYSC. So initially for me, it wasn't something I actually planned. So it wasn't something I visioned. So it just come along the line. So it's come along the line and I give glory to God for where I am today. Because it's part of what we faced as a QA, let me just say as an IT personnel as a whole. Because there are some things that we won't plan and it just come along the line then. And then if you are not someone that you, you really wish to, just okay, this thing I just come, let me just face it. Or maybe you are really fearing or you are just having some fear in you that like this thing that I just want to start. Hope it won't be something that and at the end of the day I won't be able to I won't be able to cope with it. So it happens because there are some times that you want to give up, you know. So you just have to keep going and with persistence and determination you just have to be where you want to be. So the once again I welcome everyone to this session. And then I hope it's going to be as insightful as usual. So let me just proceed to why I pursued QA. So there are many things surrounding that why I pursued QA. Because initially it wasn't my line. Because I studied mechanical engineering when I was in school. So when I received the offer letter in an IT firm, so and then they trained us. So on along the line, I was like, because after training us, they absorb us into the company, and I was given the keyword position. So why trying to perform my duty, I realized that I was I was someone that you have to as a keyword you have to be able to pay attention to details. You have to ask questions, and you have to be able to think analytically. Be able to view your project, be able to view your let me say your client project the way they are seeing it. You don't have to test from your perspective. You have to test from the client perspective. And along the line, I realized that why even doing this, it's even affecting my own way of life. I don't know if you are can you with me, everyone? Just confirm if you are with me. Am I audible enough? Am I
Yeah.
still
Yes, you're
audible?
audible. Can hear you. Yes, very audible. Can
Okay,
hear
okay.
you.
Okay, so along the line, I realized that this key way of eating that I've been practicing, I've been training, is already affecting my way of life in such a way that whenever I am even just sitting down, I'm trying to think, I'm trying to anything I'm viewing, I'm trying to view that thing, in such a way that I'm trying to bring out the mistake in that thing, like look, just finding out the negative aspect of that thing. you know. For example, now I might be watching some film and then from watching that film, I'll just be, be picking some errors, like, this thing they did here is an error, something they do. So something like that. So I realized that all these things, it's not just training about it, it's already your way of life, it's already part of you. So that's why I realized okay, it's like this thing that I'm already training about, then let me just face it, you know. And by the prayer of God, because of God, I'm around I think like 6 years experience now in Kiwi. So and we are not done yet. We are still trying to pursue some bigger opportunities along the line. So it's not easy. It's not going to be an easy path. You know, you have sometimes you feel like giving up sometimes. You feel like giving up. It will come it will come every time. Like giving up but you just have to be persistent with your opportunity. You have to persist with what you are doing, and from there you know that okay, you just have to just hold on to what you are doing. So that's something why I try to pursue my QA career, just trying to find some problems, try to solve problems. You find the problem and you try to solve it. You pay attention to details. You think from the client's perspective. You test a project in the way the client will look at it, not in your own perspective. You know, you just have to find error in everything. So that's the reason why I have to pursue that QA and then there I am. So and then there's a saying that anyone says, though normally it's developers that build the product, but QA ensure users trust the product. There's no how a product is being built. If it didn't pass through the QA, that product is just a nonsense product. But at the end of the day, they will still have to go around and pass through that QA, no matter how useless that QA. Even though the QA doesn't know what it is, the product will still have to go pass through that QA, to be able to satisfy okay, this product is good for use for the client. So that's probably why I pursue my QA career. So my career journey is in a meeting in a minute is just you know it's not something that really go a long way like that. It started from learning, from training process. You have to be consistent with your training. It's not like maybe you attend the training today and then next session that you are trying to meet again, you are not around, you are nowhere to be found. So you just have to be consistent with your career. You have to consider with your training. You have to be showing up every day. You have to show up every possible. You just have to be showing up. You know, from the past to the present to the future. So just be showing up. You start with the basic things. The fundamentals, the SDLC, STLC. All those manual testing. That you start with that. You don't just go ahead to test from the automation aspect. You start from the basics, from the manual aspect. And when you know that okay, you are good in manual, then you now proceed to the next stage. So that's how you build a career. It's not like you just going straight to the automation aspect of it. Things are not done that way. So then you make sure that you gain hand-on experience, with test cases. Because after I started my own career with some fundamentals of testing, the SDLC, STLC, and Agile, then you make sure that okay, you have an experience in test case design. So I started, trying to build my own test case, trying to make sure that I know how to build the test because there's no how you test an application without the test cases, without the test script. So just have to know how to do that. Bug reporting, if you know how to report your bug. It's not, there's no, I want to know how to put this. There's no how you want to test an application if you don't present your report in a very good way, then a very good way that the stakeholders we have to understand you, you know, then that report is it's not a good report. You just have to know how to prepare your bug reporting with stakeholders. Because by when they see the report, they just in the blink of an eye they will understand what you present to them. And for you to be able to prepare that report, you have to also have some experience in Jira, or let me say bug reporting tools like Jira. We have so many of them. We have Jira, we have Dogzilla, we have so many of them. Just pick one. You know how to access it. It's something that is very easy to use. It's not something that is very difficult. Even without someone teaching you, you will know how to use it. Just go on. go online, find materials. Don't wait for your facilitator to to give you to teach you everything. They cannot teach you everything. You understand? Just go online, find a way of of building yourself. So from there, you will be able to do some good career with yourself. You know, so from there, when you know that okay, you are good with the fundamentals, you are good with the experience, you know how to design a test case, the bug reporting, and you have an experience with Jira board, then you are really progressing from there. From there you'll be able to know okay, by next stage, you will be able to ad- advance into maybe let's say a senior QA or maybe a test lead to be able to be able to mentor some people at your back. You understand? So just be consistent with whatever you are doing. If you are consistent with whatever career you are doing, and from with that you'll be able to build your career. And then let me say, I don't know how many minutes I have left, but for the first part, the advice I have for the beginners that want to, you know, advance into this QA, I will just say, just share some, I'll just share some practical advice. Learn the fundamentals before the automation. I think I've said that earlier before, sir, that you just don't jump to automation. It's not things are not even done that way. Just try to learn the fundamentals. Try to learn the STL, CSDSC, you know, just learn them. The man start from these little ones. Then when you are good with the little ones, then you cannot go to the hard part. All these things, not something like you can just go ahead and just pick it up from the hard part, and then I think maybe from there you'll be able to, to just understand it. Things are not done that way. You start from the easiest part, then you now go to the hardest part. You understand? So that's the first advice. Then the second one is try to practice writing a clear test case and bug report. I think I've even said this earlier. Be able to for you to be able to try to write a clear test cases. Know how to write a good test script that user will be able to understand. Even user that without the user seeing the the QA in charge, just seeing your test script and the way you build your test script, the user should be able to access the application without anybody's advice or anybody help. That's how to write a good test cases. That by seeing your test case without asking for help, then they were able to navigate to the application, and then the bug report. Know how to write a good bug report. If not by not joining, there are some good ways of writing a good bug report. You can use an Excel sheet to write a good bug report. You build it, you write it in your way, then there are some graphs that you can just design it in a good way that when the stakeholder see it or the client see it, they'll be amazed. Not that you can just post something on the group. Okay, something is passed. Okay, one is passed, two is failed. That's not a good report. So things are not done that. Build your report. Then after building it, you can screenshot it. You can send it as an email. You can even send the file to the email. Okay, this is your report. So that's how you put your test report. And the third advice I would like to give is master some QA tools. Like let me say like Jira. Try to master some keywords like Jira, then Postman. Learn how to test API. It's not really a good thing for a keyword to be able to just test an application without knowing how to test an API. You know, try to know where to know the back end. Try to test from the back end. It's not really a good thing because we have so many QA. I don't know that they only know how to test the front end, but they don't know how to test the back end, which are the APIs. There are some front end that when you are testing, the front end will pass, the back end will pass, or the back end will pass, the front end will pass. So from that, if something like that is happening, which means that we have some issues around that which the developers need to look at. You understand? So learn how to use the Postman or maybe API testing, tools. It's not only Postman that is used to test an API. We make use of Swagger too to test an API. You can also make them how to use the Swagger too to test an API. Then, if you want to further that, your knowledge, you can also learn SQL. That you can be able to to see how all these things you are testing on the content is sitting in the database. That's what the SQL is all about. When you know how to make use of an SQL, or what you are testing on the front end, after discuss, maybe you have discussed an application, or maybe you throw an application from the beginning to the end, you now go into the SQL application to see how all these things are
Mr.
sitting on your database and the like. So just understand the business of an application, not just the application. We have so many
Mr.
queries like
Wale,
that.
sorry. Hello, sir.
Yeah,
You have
I'm
one
with you.
minute
I'm with
left.
you.
You have 1 minute. Yeah, you have
Yeah,
1 minute left,
yeah.
sir.
So
Okay.
okay. So let me just go to the last part, which is the opportunities in QA. So there are so many opportunities in QA that you can find your career path. As a test engineer, you can be a professional testing. If that's what you want, you can just be a professional testing engineer. If you don't learn it, an automation, you can just be a manual tester. There are some people that there are some companies that assign that employs a manual tester, but it will just be very good for you to know both manual and automation so that you can be able to advance your career. You can also learn API tester. There are some companies that just employ this API tester, performance tester. You have so many opportunities in QA, so many of them. You know, so that's just it about the opportunities in QA. So I would just like to leave it here for now. Just try to encourage you guys that just don't give up. Don't give up. Just be persistent, be determined, be curious, be detailed, have some detail oriented. Always advocate for the end user, that man said that okay, this is what I want to be. I want to be an exceptional QA engineer. Then from there you will be able to to get to the top. So thank you very much. I hope I'll be able to give a good insight in this session. Thank
Oh,
you.
thank you so very much. Please let's put our hands together for Mr. Olawale for that wonderful insight into the software quality assurance journey and profession. Thank you so very much. We are so honored to have you tonight. While you were speaking, I was just listening carefully, and to some of to I want to believe that those who are coming into the field or profession have taken notes, because he was mentioning areas where you need to start, what you need to learn, the fundamentals. Sometimes people miss out on the fundamentals and want to learn other things. I remember initially for myself, when I wanted to learn QA, I was making some research. Someone was saying I should just go and do automation. Just go and do automation. I'm like, how can I do automation when I don't know how to even do manual testing? So as God will have it, I stumbled upon SQL Marshal's what's it called, scholarship program. I think that should be 2.0, no, 3.0, and that was how we came in and we started learning manual. I was glad and so excited that I made up my mind. I made that decision to have learned, and because one of the things that you are going to be grounded in the scholarship program in SQL Marshal is you're going to be grounded in the fundamentals. If you don't know how to write your test cases, you don't know how to do test case design and all of those stuffs, you mess yourself up in the world of QA. And these are very fundamental things you need to know. So sir, we really appreciate you. Thank you so much for those insights you have shared with us. So we have now heard from two professionals with different experience in the QA space. I think one thing that should already be clear from tonight's conversation is that there is no single route into a successful QA career. People come from different backgrounds. Like you heard, Mr. Olawale said he studied mechanical engineering in school, and look at him now; he's a quality assurance tester, a software quality assurance tester, engineer. You know, so we have different phases with different challenges. But what remains important is that there's a willingness to learn. There's a willingness to practice. You are adapting. You are continuing developing. So let's use the remaining time that we have now, to interact with our speakers. So participants, if you have any question, I would love for you to write them in the chat box, while I have some questions for our speakers tonight. So I'm going to start with Mr. Kingsley. So, Mr. Kingsley, are you still on the call?
Yes, I'm here.
All right, sir. So, Mr. Kingsley, let me start with you. If you had an opportunity to go back to the beginning of your QA career, knowing everything you know today, what is the one thing you would do differently?
One thing I would do differently would be to grow my online presence. I'll be very intentional about networking with professionals and putting the things that I know, no matter how little, out there. Just my visibility will be my currency, my CV.
I
Yeah,
think
that's
I
it.
lost you. I don't know what happened to my speaker. I just went off. So can you just repeat what you said? I didn't hear, sir. Sorry about that.
Can you hear me
I
now?
can hear you now, sir. I can hear you now, sir.
Hello?
Yeah, I can hear you
Okay,
now.
so I said the one thing I'll do. Okay, yeah, it's fine. So I said the one thing I'll do differently is I'll be very intentional about my online, like documenting my work online and putting myself out there. Even if it's uncomfortable, I'll try to put myself out there, because right now people, like, online is like your currency, sort of like your CV.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'll keep putting myself out. I'll put myself out there. From if I learn manual, like you said, manual test and how to write a test case, I'll test the product, take a screenshot of it, post it on LinkedIn or anywhere that I feel comfortable. Just post it there. I did this, I learned, these are the lessons I took from it. You just post it and keep it there. That's what I would do if I were to start. But before now, I was just always hiding my work, just do my stuff behind the scene, and nobody will even know that Kingsley is a tester. Very quiet. So no, I won't be quiet at all. I won't.
Yeah. Oh, thank you so much. So I'm sure you've heard Mr. Kingsley. You have to be online. Put yourself out there. The online space is your currency. Maximize LinkedIn, maximize Facebook, maximize GitHub, maximize every space. Twitter, just put it out there. Let people see what you are doing. Let them watch you. Let them see how you are advancing in your growth. Thank you so much for that insight and response, sir. So, sir, the same question applies to you, Mr. Olawale. What would you do differently, knowing everything you know now? If you had to go back to your beginning of your QA career, what would you do differently now, sir?
Okay. What I would do if I should go back to the beginning of my career, what I would do differently is just to take things one step at a time. So what I mean by that is that when I started my QA career, it was in a rush, so I was having some doubts in my mind, and then I was thinking, like, should I do this? Should I do that? Should I go to another department, or maybe through security? So thinking of these things wastes a lot of my time in learning the basic of of the fundamentals of the QA stuff. So if I should go back to the beginning of time, then I will start from where I'm supposed to start, taking it one step at a time without thinking of any other alternative. So that is it. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much, sir. So, Mr. Lawale said he will take things one step at a time. Don't carry a lot of things. You want to now start learning API testing. You want to start learning security testing when you have not even learned fundamentals, when you have not even learned how to write a test case. So take it one step at a time. Thank you so much for that, sir. So the second question I have, right, a participant, I don't know if you have questions. Like I said, if you do have questions, you can do as well, write them in the chat box. And when I'm done with my questions to our speakers, I'll pick them up there and I'll ask them. So the second question I have is this: there are many people today, many people listening tonight who are interested in QA, but they are overwhelmed by the number of things they are told to learn. Manual testing, like I mentioned, automation testing, API testing, SQL. Mr. Lawale mentioned that too as well. You mentioned Swagger, using Swagger to test API testing. You have to learn how to use Jira, programming, DevOps, testing tools, certifications, and many others. So for someone who is completely new to the field, what should they focus on during their first 3 to 6 months? Mr. Kingsley, back to you, sir. What should they focus?
Okay, that's a very good question, but like I understand most times we can be overwhelmed. I was also in that space in time where I was just confused. What should I learn? What should I learn? I think what I would say is try to learn how to think like a tester. because not everybody can think like a good tester. Train yourself, train your mind how to see things differently, how to probe documents. All of these skills are fundamentals, are core skills of a tester. You know how to ask good questions. So don't jump into learning tools here and there, but learn how to think like a tester. You understand? So if you can learn that trick on how to think like a tester. So if they give you a requirements document today, you can look at it and say, okay, and pick out all the loopholes. And when you show up in your meetings and you start talking or speaking, they're like, wow, I didn't even think like this. There was a day I was testing a product. It was good, fine. They've already deployed it. But I came and I looked at the app, opened the app, I added dots as a password, and I created an account. But I told the developer, he said, why did you do that? I said, because I'm a tester. So you need to learn how to think. If you can learn how to think like a tester, man, that's your superpowers. So tools are there, but just please learn how to. So it takes training. That's why we are doing SQ Marshal. I'm sure you guys will learn how to think like a tester. If you learn it, you'll go far. Tools will come and go.
Yeah.
But that brain, they too.
They too. That's lovely, sir. You need to learn how to think like a tester. Thank you so much, sir. Mr. Olawale, you have anything to add to what Mr. Kingsley has said to us? Hello, Mr. Olawale? Are you still here?
Yeah, I'm with you.
Yeah. Okay. Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
Mr. Kingsley has said this already. So,
Yeah.
let's think as a tester. I think I even said it. Like, know it from your perspective that when you are looking at things, look it from your own perspective. You're able to pick up some errors from your own perspective, not just testing. You are saying it, but to just start to it, also learn the fundamentals. The fundamentals are very, 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 very important. The fundamentals are very important. All those else, DLC, STLC type of testing. You might just just look it like maybe it's all this thing, they are just very, very minor thing until they ask you in an interview, you just be lost. And not that you don't know it. You know what all these things are, but you don't know how to answer it. Do you understand? Not like you don't know it,
Yeah.
though. You know what SDLC, all this type of testing, you know what everything, but you don't know how to answer them. So learn all those fundamentals is very, very important.
Yeah.
So that's just it.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. All right. So the third question is this: one of the biggest challenges beginners face is getting their first job. Right? You can take courses, you can practice, you can even learn tools. But then comes the question: how do I get a QA job when I don't have professional experience? What can a beginner do to make themselves employable even before getting their first professional QA role? So I'll go back to Mr. Olawale. I don't know before I go to Mr. Kingsley. Mr. Olawale, how do beginners, get a QA job when they don't have professional experience?
Mm, I think they should be able to, we have so many countries that we have some many experience, and they don't really have, I don't really have this experience. So the only thing they can do is to try to learn out from their folks. You go out from the box, try to learn things on yourself. Don't wait for your facilitator or your lecturers to teach you things. Go out on your own way to learn some tool. If you check YouTube now, anything you are trying to learn, you see it on YouTube. That's what our own facilitators should do to us. They will tell us, you want to know this, you just go to YouTube. So try to learn. Don't wait for your teacher to teach you. You understand? Don't wait for your lecturer to teach you this or that. Just go on you go your own way. Go to some sites, learn some things on yourself. So by the time your lecturer got there or your facilitator got there, then you will have had some more knowledge about the stuff before then. So that's it.
Thank you, sir. So, Mr. Kingsley, the question also comes to you too. How do a beginner get a QA job when he or she doesn't have professional experience? What can a beginner do to make themselves employable even before getting their first professional QA role?
Okay, that's a good one. So that's why I said, first of all, try as much as you can to put your work online. You never can tell who is watching. Secondly, be very brutal. So if you have, so let's say try to volunteer if you can. If you see volunteering roles, please put yourself out there. Try to volunteer to companies or try to network with people that are already interested and ask them, hey boss or sis or anybody, can I volunteer in your company? You never can tell. They might even have a role for some. So it might even be unpaid, but you're learning, you're building your portfolio, you're gathering something that you can say to another person or to another employer. So volunteering is very key. Try to be visible so your stuff is online so somebody can refer to that. Thirdly, if for any reason you have an opportunity to interview with any company, if it's a product company, meaning they have a product and that's what they're using to sell their market to make money, try as much as you can to download the app, test the product by yourself. I'm not saying go and test everything or do purchase, but just do some basic testing on it. Then if you find one or two bugs, or maybe three, show up at the interview. When they say, can we meet you? You talk to them. I tell them, my name is this. I'm a beginner, but don't go and lie. Tell them I'm a beginner. And then at the end of, make sure you tell them, I found something in your app. Make a statement. Just tell them, I found something in your app. I kid you not, you never can tell. That might even be your first official job. I've done this trick to two persons and they use it to get a job. So you guys are privileged to get it now.
Yeah.
Please try, because the market can be a lot of companies are currently looking there. People are training for QA everywhere. So try to be unique. If they bring out 10 QAs, junior QAs, then you've done something. You tell them, I found this bug. I found it. Even if it's a known bug, but for the fact that you've done something, I believe if I'm on that panel, you will get the job. Like I was, I want you on my. That's my advice.
Hey, make una dey pray, make una get the kind Mr. Kingsley for panels where they interview people. Well, so it's really, really exciting. Really, I didn't know that works. You going checking, testing the application of the company, then taking notes and maybe identifying bugs, then bring that up as one of your statements in the interview. We're all privileged to hear this tonight. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much. And of course, he has also reiterated the fact of you being online. Put yourself out there. Volunteer. Volunteer. Me, I've done a lot of volunteering roles. Whether in QA space or even outside QA, I've been doing volunteering roles, and I know how I've grown from being a volunteer to having, permanent roles in the companies that I've volunteered with. So it's one thing that I think Mr. Kingsley has shared, which I believe everyone who is here, who is a participant, should actually cling on to and work towards it. So I have one final question, please. So for someone who has limited resources, how important are certifications compared with practical skills and project experience? Should a beginner prioritize certification, or should they focus first on developing practical testing skills and building evidence of what they can do? Mr. Kingsley, I'm back to you again.
Why will you have money to pay for certification when you're looking Anyways, my advice is just try and build credibility, build your stuff. Certification is, I wouldn't say it's good or bad, but I would go for somebody that has done the work before if I'm to choose. So I would advise you, be hands-on, get something, go hands-on, learn, volunteer, know the job first, then you can use certification to top up and have more things to say in interviews. So I'll suggest you go for hands-on, learn, build your portfolio before certifications.
Well, sir, that sometimes when you look at some of those jobs roles in LinkedIn, they will always put ISTQB, what's it called, certification as one of the criteria before you can get employed.
Well,
Most of them.
Most. Yes.
Most. It becomes so challenging. That means after you have finished learning, your practice, you are doing stuff, they'll say you don't have ISTQB certification. It becomes a problem, So how would one actually,
so what I would say is, if you want to prioritize what to go for first before the next, try and build hands-on experience. Like try and build your real skills first, and then you can afford certification, because they are not cheap. It's not 50K or
You know, yeah.
so if you can afford it, then you can top up with your certification. If you have to choose the other one first before the certification. I'm not saying it's bad though, but just considering cost and everything. Yeah, these days some employers would want you to have the certification though, but yeah, that's my take on it.
Oh, thank you so very much, sir. Thank you so much for that, sir. Mr. Olawale, you have anything to add to what Mr. Kingsley has said? Hello, Mr. Olawale? The call. Okay.
Hello, sorry, I didn't get that. What is it?
I said, do you have something to add to what Mr. Kingsley has said around for someone who has limited resources? You know, how important are certifications compared with practical skills and project experience? Should a beginner prioritize certification, or should they focus first on developing practical testing skills and building evidence of what they can do? Especially in this era now, on this time where any job role you are seeing out there, majority of them are always asking for ISTQB certification before you can, be employed. What do you suggest, or what do you have to say about this?
It's a good thing, it's a good for investors to have all those satisfied certificates. It's a very, very good thing. It gives them an edge over every other person. Even though you have from many more experience, more than the senior and the senior that you feel in the field. But if you don't have that certificate, if you have that certificate, you enter that way. Like that, you have okay, so it's a good thing to have all the certificates. But any kind of time, apply it. Most of the time, it's a good thing. It's a good thing.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you so very much, sir. So far so good. It's been an interesting journey in tonight's session. I have asked quite a lot of questions that I believe it's not just. I'm sure it's cut across many. Maybe the questions that many of the participants would have, or maybe they have not thought about it. But when the questions were asked, it started making sense to them that, oh, this actually is important to know. But I also want to give opportunities to our participants. They have dropped some questions. Please pardon us. We know we have gone behind the time that was scheduled for this program, especially to our guests, Mr. Kingsley and Mr. Olawale. But just do us a favor by just helping us with these 3 questions that we have on the chat box, and we'll wrap up the session for tonight. So, Mr. Olasubomi Ayoade asked a question. He said, "Good evening, sirs. Thank you so much for the insights you have shared. I'm super grateful. My question is to Mr. Kingsley. How does a QA testing look as a day-to-day job and as an in-house tester? Are there reiterations to the testing of a product, or it's done once or twice? Is there always something to do, or there are peak times?" So did you get the question, sir? Okay,
Yes,
this is coming from.
yes.
Okay, yeah, thank you so much. Yes, sir.
Yeah, so
So
yeah,
you can,
I'll try to be brief.
Okay.
The life. So you want me to give a picture of our day to day. So it depends. I would say it depends on the company you're working for, but generally as a QA, what you'll be doing on a day to day would be to test softwares. So we have, like, depending on the company, there are several project management tools like Jira and the likes. It depends too. If it's a fresh project, brand new project, it means you'll be in project meetings, talking, analyzing the product mentally. They will probably have like a document that they must have shared with you to review. So you review those documents, read them, dot the I's, cross the T's, come up with your questions, and then you ask them in those meetings to get clarity. So while the solution is being built, the developers are building the backend, and the designers are designing. Because you understand the project, you've understood it, because you've been in the meetings, you've read the documents, you can start preparing your test cases ahead of time. You can prepare those tests. You can even help the designers to even review their products design, review it, and say, oh, I think this should be like this. So your day-to-day life is more like reviewing things in a way, reviewing documents, preferring solutions, and then if the solution is available for testing, if it's a backend like APIs, you can then start testing the APIs. The other speaker mentioned Postman. You can use Postman to test the APIs, then share your defects or bugs. If you find those issues, you can share them with the developer. So it involves you being very, you have to be very analytical, be mindful of what be present. QA is not the kind of job where you'll be doing and you'll be distracted. You have to be present, pick up the solution. If the app is ready for testing, go test it properly and then ask questions. If you're confused, ask your product manager, ask your developers. And one of the things too, sometimes you'll be arguing with developers too. It's not all rosy, because sometimes you might find a problem and then the developer will say, no, this is not the problem. Kingsley, why are you doing like this? I've had a developer come to my desk one time. I was working on site and then he banged it in. Bam, why did you copy our boss? Because I was like, I'm coming to your DM to tell you about the issues. So you learn how to understand people, emotionally. You must be very sound emotionally to understand developers. Try to use kind words, because these guys have spent hours, days to develop this thing. So you learn so many things. Different parts of you will just show up. So in summary, you're reviewing products, you're testing majorly. You're testing, finding issues, and you have to be very vocal. You don't show up in meetings and be quiet. Testers are not quiet. You have to be very vocal. Because if you're not vocal, nobody will feel your impact. Before you know, one bug will you keep quiet and they will go to prod and they will blame you for it. Yeah, so we're playing every day. I believe I've answered.
Thank you so much for that. Wow, this is a lot of experiences coming to us, in 2 hours. I'm so excited to be here tonight, really. Thank you so much, Mr. Kingsley and Mr. Olawale, for those responses. So there's more question here. I think that this still goes back to Mr. Kingsley. The same lady asked, saying, beside from posting online and being visible, how can I start building a portfolio as I learn? Mr. Kingsley, did you get that question? Say, aside posting online and being visible, how can I start building portfolio as I learn?
Yeah, you can definitely build a portfolio. I know some testers that have built like a software where they put all the products that they've worked on. So how can you build a portfolio? Yes, you don't have a company's website or application to test. You can pick up random companies, Jumia's app, like Jumia app, UBA Bank, all these public solutions out there. You can pick one of them, test them. You might not necessarily do everything entirely, but you can use that as a learning stuff for you. Group them somewhere, keep them as your stuff. If you eventually create a website for yourself, can put them out there, like can store them there. And okay, I've done this one, I've done that one, I've done API testing. But I would really encourage you. Most times, just a screenshot is enough, and a short post is enough for your portfolio. But if you want to put everything, the test plan, test cases, then I'll suggest you maybe create a website and store those things. Put a link where they can click to maybe your Google Drive to see all of those documents. That's what I believe I've answered.
Yes, that's it. Thank you so much. I think the other question is almost similar to what this lady has asked. So I think that'll be all. Thank you so much for this insight that we've had from both of you, sirs. You've not just spoken to us. You have actually poured out your heart to us in how you spoke. The wisdom that you have shared with us, cannot be, measured. Thank you so very much. So before we close tonight's session, let me quickly highlight a few things I believe we should take away from this conversation. QA is not just a course; it's a career. So taking a course or learning few testing tools does not automatically make a good QA professional. One needs to be consistent. One needs consistent learning, practical experience, critical thinking. They keep emphasizing that you'll be able to review product and project that's being worked on. Communication, attention to details, and problem solving skills rather. And also, you don't have to know everything before you start. You start with the fundamentals. This was one of the points that Mr. Olawale kept emphasizing. Start with fundamentals, learn, practice, build, ask questions, learn from people ahead of you, and you keep improving. You know, sometimes you don't have to you have to start small. What matters is that you're getting yourself into the environment where you can learn, contribute, gain experience, and build credibility. You know, volunteer for roles, start somewhere. You know, document your progress, document what you're doing, put them online. You know, you don't compare your beginning with someone else's middle. Everyone's career journey is different. So you just focus on your own growth and remain consistent. So at this junction and at this point, I would like to sincerely appreciate our speakers. First, Mr. Kingsley Udoh, the Senior QA Engineer at West Group. Thank you so much for sharing your experience, your knowledge, and your insight with us tonight. It was very, very practical and relatable. I also want to appreciate our second speaker, Mr. Inaobatan Olawale, Senior QA Engineer at FinTrack Software Co. Limited. Thank you as well for taking the time to educate, encourage, and to inspire our participants. Ladies and gentlemen, let's appreciate them once again with a round of applause. If you're here, use the emoji to appreciate our speakers for this wonderful time they have shared with us. So I also want to sincerely appreciate the CEO of SQL Marshal Limited, Mr. Success Ayodeji, for being with us tonight and sharing his thoughts with us. So thank you for your leadership and for the vision behind the SQL Marshal Scholarship Initiative. I also appreciate the entire SQL Marshal Program Management team and everyone who has contributed to making this program possible. Initiatives like these are important because, like you see, they help us connect aspiring professionals with people who are already active in the industry. Just like Mr. Kingsley has said, you go online, go to LinkedIn, you know, you can follow him, DM him, you know. That's one thing I know about Mr. Kingsley. Just from LinkedIn, I know I got to meet him, and it's been beautiful. I've shared some thoughts with him. I'm sure you may not even remember who he's talking, but I'm going to do that after this call. I'm going to chat him up again tonight. And we're hopeful that tonight's conversation will not end with this session. For our participants, the real value begins when you take what you have learned tonight and put it into action. So, ladies and gentlemen, we've come to the end of tonight's SQL Marshal Scholarship Insight 9.0. It has been a privilege to serve as your moderator tonight. To our CEO, Mr. Success Ayodeji, thank you once again. To our speakers, Mr. Kingsley Udoh and Mr. Inaobatan Olawale, thank you for your time and for sharing your experiences. And to our participants, thank you for joining us and being willing to learn. I hope that you do not leave this session with information alone. You're living with direction. You're living with knowing that what your next step should be. And when you identify what is next, you take it. You learn, practice, build, connect, and keep moving forward. Once again, my name is Ogochukwu Okonkwo. It has been my pleasure being your moderator for tonight's Insight session. Thank you, everyone, and have a wonderful evening. Good night, and God bless you.
Good night, everyone.